if someone isn't careful, going out to eat is one of the easiest ways to completely derail a fat loss diet. And I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And I'm not saying you can't go out to eat, by the way. I'm absolutely not saying that. What I'm saying is that for people who do not have enormous calorie needs because they do large amounts of cardio, carry a lot of muscle mass, if you are trying to lose weight, every time you go out to eat, it may actually put you back into a calorie surplus for the week, in which case, if you're in a calorie deficit 5 days a week and you go into a surplus twice a week due to going out to eat, if you're not really, really careful, it can completely halt all of your fat loss for the week. And particularly, again, for people who do not have very large calorie needs. So, for example, if you're someone who only burns 2,500, 2,600 total calories a day, you guys see where I'm going with this? And you're eating 2,000 calories every day, you're only in a 500 deficit per day. So going 1,000 calories over that twice a week can completely bring you to a screeching halt. So if you end up eating 3,200 calories 2 times a week because you go out to eat, it's an issue. Now, a lot of people say, well, when I go out to eat, I pick foods that are allowed on my diet, okay, because they may be on a special diet. Well, that's well and good unless you end up going 1,000 calories over your maintenance that day. So again, in other words, if you burn 2,500 and you ate 2,000 through the day and then you eat 1,500 calories going out to eat, that's it. It doesn't matter if it's on your keto diet. It doesn't matter if it's on your vegetarian diet. Whatever it is that you happen to be doing, because ultimately that's going to be the problem. So how do we resolve this? Okay, a couple of strategies that I would recommend. Obviously, limit going out to eat. Okay, I would say for a lot of people, particularly unless you know how to really track those calories close for the foods you go out for, maybe limit yourself to going out to eat once or twice a week. Okay, so that's one strategy that a person can use. And here's what I recommend. For example, I have clients who, I go out with my girlfriend. We go out for dinner every Friday night. Okay, perfectly reasonable. So what would I advise that person to do? All right, if they're trying to lose body fat, they're trying to lose weight. So in this case, it's one of my power lifters who wants to come down about 10 pounds over the course of the next few months for his next meet. So what are we doing for him? Well, I tell him, follow your normal calories throughout the week, right? Your small deficit every single week, the other days. And when you get to that Friday, I tell him, go ahead and fast in the morning, okay? Or only have maybe a protein shake, or something before you go to work that day, Friday. Fast through most of the day. And then before you go out to dinner or maybe at lunch, have just lean protein. And that is absolutely a viable solution. This is one reason stuff like, you guys remember the whole lean gains thing? One reason it was so effective and people were getting away with basically eating kind of whatever they wanted for dinner on that sort of system was because it was focused on fasting and then large amounts of protein kind of starting your day off. And if you do that, and that's a perfect example. So let's say that you've been able to maintain a deficit through the whole week, and then every Friday night you need to go out, but you burn 2,500 calories a day, okay? And let's say you only eat 600 calories, but it's all protein before you go out for that dinner. You can get away with an enormous meal, right? You can get away with an enormous meal. You can probably get away with the appetizers. You can get away with that stuff and not go into a calorie surplus. So even if you break even, so if you do that, you eat 600 calories of protein, 800 calories of protein going in, but you have 17 or 1,800 calories left for that time going out because you planned for it, you can get away with your night out. You can get away with your date night. You can get away with your family night, okay? But if you do not plan for it, that's the problem. This is where going out gets people who are in a weight loss or a fat loss phase, is not planning ahead for the going out. If you can be regimented and you can plan so that night out doesn't take you by surprise, Okay, so if you go into a night out with only 500 calories left or 300 calories left and you eat 1,500 or 1,800, you could possibly derail your fat loss for the week. Because most people are not running big enough deficits to get away with that twice a week. They're just not. So because again, if your 2 nights out to eat every week take you into a 2,000 calorie surplus for the week, you're essentially losing almost nothing if you're in a 500 calorie deficit. And again, most people do not burn enough calories. I burn like 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day. I promise you most people out there are not doing that. Okay? And if you're not, and that's okay, that's normal, you have to plan for those nights out. You absolutely have to be regimented on those days. But if you are, it will give you freedom to do that. So if you know every Friday night and every Saturday night, both I'm going to go out to eat, all right, you can eat only protein on the Friday going out. And then say your Saturday, so if let's say you do it twice a week, you skip breakfast and you just fast through the morning. And maybe you eat some protein, only protein, maybe 100 grams of protein, like all chicken breast and vegetables, right, to fill up, or a protein shake and vegetables at noon, 1 o'clock. Then when you go out to eat and you've got up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories to work with, all right, you can get away with quite a bit. You probably can't eat an all-you-can-eat buffet, but you can certainly get away with the lasagna or the fajitas or whatever it is that you are going out to have. All right, that is the trick to doing it. And if you can't do that plan ahead, if you can't be regimented enough to plan ahead, you probably have to accept that you're not going to go out and eat during your fat loss phase. If you do, you're not going to lose the fat. And it's really going to be a wasted effort. And that's really what gets most people. A lot of people are like, oh man, the weekend gets me. It's like, I followed my diet all the way through Monday through Friday, and then they go overboard. They go crazy on the weekend because they don't plan the time out earlier in the day. And then they don't get anywhere. These are the people like, I do try everything to lose weight or to lose fat, but I can't. Well, it's your weekends out. It's because you're not planning for them. And if you plan for them in the sort of manners I described, it will give you the flexibility to do that. But it has to be pre-planned. You can't just randomly go out and eat with friends or date night or whatever with family if you haven't planned for it. But as long as you plan for it correctly earlier in the day, that is the strategy that works. And you don't try to do it every night. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.